Okay, this is Jeffrey with XAircraft USA back again for some more of this build. And this is the machine we've been building very early in the morning. It's not quite daylight outside, but you can see the receivers in there. Still have the tape on the booms. So all I'm going to do real quickly here is the XAircraft stickers, although they're very pretty, they don't tend to seal very well on the bottom. So I use this some Scotch tape. You can't see it once it's on, to seal the bottom seam with the sticker, and you never have to worry about it coming off that way. Let's go ahead and get our blue tape off these front two booms real quick. This way you can see your front end. I do it on the boom and on the skids. The skids actually get trimmed a little. They give you 4 stickers of the same size, which we go around those little skids twice. But we trim those off. But okay, so let's go ahead and I'll quickly make this quick and painless. And before I have to get my blind eye glasses on. Okay, I take my time with these top 2 stickers, and I orient them. You can orient them any way you want. But I actually orient my X to the front in the XAircraft. Get over top so I can get my word nicely centered down the boom, because the rest don't really matter. It's all just yellow. I don't center on the boom, I push it to the front. And just burnish that down real nice with your finger and just kind of milk it around. It's a common sense thing. And I try to put this inside in first, that way my overlap goes toward the middle of the aircraft and it doesn't show. You kind of check that where you burnish the first edge down and you do your overlap. You'd think that would stick really well, but it doesn't. So the little piece of Scotch tape or clear tape you have is great for doing that. Again, remember, I do the inside first, taking that around, taking my time so I don't get wrinkles in it and it looks nasty. Check that, make sure it's down good, because I don't want any raises. And just burnish that under real nice and make it a beautiful boom wrap that's more forward of the machine. Actually, you don't think that's anything, but it does make you see the machine better. I'm going to flip this over. Put your Scotch tape, whatever you want to do, but it needs to go straight forward. Instead of like that. I usually do this a little earlier in the build, but if you can leave them out there. So put the cap on there. Make sure there's no wires I want to catch. There shouldn't be anything loose anyway. I take a lot of time with that to make sure. There's still plenty of room to get to this seam and put the tape over it. Put a little shorter than there. I've done this a lot, so I know about what to pull off there. You can actually cut that off and measure it and cut the length and all that stuff, but it's just about 3/32 shorter than the covering. Of course, it makes it a little tiny bit dull on the bottom, but your sticker is smooth and beautiful, and it's not going to come off. It's not going to start hanging, drooping on you. Of course, it's best if you center your tape on the bottom of the boom, then it doesn't show around the edges. It doesn't show to the top side. And it's not at all nasty. It's very clean. If you don't know it's there, you're not going to see it. So let's get those done real fast. I'm going to have to actually pull this off the table into my lap, and I'll get the camera in view of the 2 front skids. I'll take our full-size pieces just like on there, and just take scissors and trim off about 3/8 of an inch. So about a 1/2 inch from the base word of XAircraft on both sides. The piece is about 1 inch wide, maybe 1 inch and 1/16. The same down here, I put the X out to the front, centering the word, nothing else matters. Burnish this down the same way. It's a little tighter turn, so it would have more of a tendency to pull off. The fact that it touches the ground. It doesn't really touch always, but it can touch high grass and this and that. It makes a really nice little overlap. And again, I'm doing the same thing with the tape. Should be just a fraction shorter than the sticker, or the same length. You don't want it longer because then you can see it. But head on booms, because especially this piece, it's wide. It covers a lot of your XAircraft graphic, but still, it's very nice. Even though you see it, I just burnished that down, and the blackness of the 8 is totally, you can't even see it, and it's sturdy. It's smooth. Okay, let's get the other one real quick, and then the sticker application, which no one probably really needed, but I did it anyway. Maybe someone did. And you can save that stuff if you want to put some little yellow graphics somewhere else on the aircraft. There's places you could put these. It's kind of cool, but I think anyway. I think all things XAircraft are cool. I wouldn't be in the least bit biased, would I? You've torn that one long. Just a tad, that's alright. You can just peel that down a little if you want. Take your scissors and lap off 1/8 of an inch of it or so. Your hands clean during this portion. Of course, with full of stickers, you don't want to get dirty fingerprints on the back of your tape. It's going to be seen. So we have our 4. Yeah, there's our one side, and you can see the leg over there in the boom. Landing gear skid right there. Bingo, bingo. We have our stickers on. In this same video, I'm going to go ahead and put the props on real quick. Again, we're going to refer to the manual. There's our 8 props, 4 that came in the V4 kit, and 4 that came in the V8 upgrade box. And we'll get our prop nuts out here, our 8 prop nuts real fast. Now, you really don't need any Loctite for this. It's really more in the torquing down process, and I need to get the camera down. We can see the prop nuts in the prop. I just dumped 4 out already on this towel. I use a 2mm shaft wrench to go through these holes to torque these down. I put all 8 props on, and all 8 nuts on. You could put a little Loctite up in the center hole here. You'd want to clean it away. You don't want to get Loctite down in between this your guide section of this flat-sided motor mount. So let me grab our V8 addendum, and I'll show you the prop orientation. Of course, now I'm actually facing the camera for the portion of putting the front tapes on, but I'm going to put it back the proper way. Trying to keep these motors in view the best I can. I don't know what I've done with my sheet, so let's. It doesn't really matter. You can actually go by your 4 motor manual, because your 4 top motors remain the same. And Your bottoms are just the reverse of that. The wiring in there makes it so, if you look at your diagram, you see this. Here's your front right, which is motor 1, which is going to be turning counterclockwise, and of course the one below that, which will be M5, will be turning clockwise. Same with all the other 4 engines. This one is clockwise on top, motor 2. So the bottom one, motor 6, will be counterclockwise. So we'll take our time and we'll do that all the way around. I'm sure that we got another clockwise on the top, counter on the bottom, counterclockwise on the top, clockwise on the bottom. And if I said some of that stuff backwards, I still believe you got the gist of it. So we're going to start. You can start with one motor. Of course, these 2 motors, the 2 odd motors, are counterclockwise on top. 2 even motors, 2 and 4, 1 and 3, 2 and 4 are clockwise, and these are counterclockwise. And of course, the ones on the bottom are the opposite. So once you start with one prop, you go around. You really can't get this wrong as long as you go clockwise. These 2 are counterclockwise, and these 2 are clockwise. So you're clockwise, or counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise. So just remember, M1 is counterclockwise. You can map from there to clockwise, back to counterclockwise, to clockwise, and then the opposite on the bottom. So there's not a lot. As long as you remember M1 counterclockwise. Just throw these things on there. I'm wasting time. And your time and mine. So, I don't know what props I'm getting out. This is the B props, which are the clockwise props, the way they're bagged. So I'm going to come here to the right rear motor, which is one of our clockwise motors, and throw this clockwise prop on. They should sit on there fairly easily. And they do. They don't pull all the way down. Don't try. Just put them on there. So we're going to go directly down the same boom length and put the other clockwise prop on engine number 2. And then we're going to grab an A bag, and we're going to put our 2 counters on those 2 tops. And at this point, it's probably better to do 4 motors at a time. That way you can put all your counterclockwise. And that's the way they usually slip on there. Turn your motors in your fingers here. And grab your prop nuts. I just kind of hold them on there and spin my motor, and she's right down there and place that quick. So here, motors on, props on there, prop nut in hand, put her on there, spin the motor, and advance it down. See if it's front or not. Same process though. I don't really see why you need to see this, but I'll show you anyway. Two millimeter driver. This prop is in view nicely, so I'll just put that in there and get a turn. Now that's pretty snug right there. I just snug the prop down. I'm just going to feel that. It's not quite 90 degrees. Sometimes it can be 90 degrees, but about 90 degrees is enough. This prop is not coming off. I mean, it's just not going to come off. Just going around, get all 4 of these first before you move on. We'll get her down to where she hits that top point. About not quite a quarter turn. A quarter turn is okay. You're not going to overstress the prop and cause it to start fracturing internally. These are the new props. In the past we had that situation with some weak plastics in here, but I think a lot of that was people just over tightening the props. You don't have to. Once this thing feels good and snug, a half a turn is a lot. It's really going to lock this down. I'll do it again over here, and I'll kind of indicate when we get to our top point. We're already there since this prop went all the way down real easily. Well, you can see that's it's not quite half a turn on that one. That's as far as I'm going to take that. It's all it needs. We've got one more motor to tighten down. These 3. The 3's tightened rather, and this is our last motor on these. It just was up in the air a little bit, so that snugged it. So let's see. Actually, it wasn't quite snug, but yeah, not even a half a turn there. That's all it needed. That's a lot. But it's not going to damage the prop, and it's not going to come loose. The way these prop nuts compress onto the top of this assembly, into the top of this plastic, that compression, maybe you should check it occasionally, but I haven't had one come loose. So, okay, now we've done those. You don't have to put the machine over anything, because the props go facing up. So this is this same prop on this corner. So this is another clockwise prop. So we're going to put it over here under the counterclockwise motor, and the prop faces up. The lettering faces upward. So don't. Of course, it's not going to fly if you face it the other way. So since these are two more of the B clockwise props going under the counterclockwise uppers, motors 1 and 7 they're clockwise. The bottoms fit a little tight because the upper part of the prop, the way these are manufactured, see, I had to kind of push that pretty hard. But when you go to tightening it down, it's not a big issue at all. You feel it pull right down. They all face up with the XAircraft and the size prop lettering facing up. We'll go to our last two motors. You could go ahead and torque those down. I just continue putting them on. Seems to be a little faster for me. Again, letters up. That's clockwise, and then these two are counterclockwise. Motors 6 and 8 rather. The counterclockwise props under the clockwise props. It starts really easily. Just hold on to your nut and spin that joker, and you're on there, and it's sticking flat. Or at least you're threaded up there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these two. I've hit now. I'm starting to get snug. I'm already snugging. That's not quite. That's just a little less than a half turn, and that's tight. You could put a drop a lot tighter than that way you don't worry about it at all. Just shut up now. We know how much to tighten them down and throw these other two nuts on. It's raining outside. I was wanting to get some training videos on the initial flights as far as GPS testing, that kind of thing, but it's kind of in your manual. There's 2 pages in there about spinning your motors up. How you do your initial spin up tests. You might think I skipped a step here. Actually, I didn't. As far as putting these props on, I use these props for orientation. Because even though their build now is complete, everything physically going on the actual craft, other than the camera mount that goes on this one, is here, and we have the props tightened, everything in, the wiring's tucked away, battery tray is on. I have 4 batteries for this gentleman. The DINs are soldered up. I had that on another video. I'll go ahead and remove this blue tape now. Absolutely no need to keep that on there any longer. I hope I'm not skipping around too much for the people that may be viewing this or may not be. Maybe no one will. But if you do, I hope that you take something away from it. So, there's that. So, now, at this point, what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is clean up our mess real quick here. I could stop the video for this, but, hey, this is actually how it goes. Maybe there's something here that I'll remember and show you guys. And if I stopped it, I'll have to just restart it. That stuff where there was no yellow left in the piece there, we could use maybe for something. Make little rings around these things, or go tacky as you want, or plain as you want, or sporty as you want. Or we actually make these in different colors. If you want to go with like an orange or green or something, instead of the XAircraft yellow, which I actually prefer. All right. what I'm doing here at this point is our motors, and I showed really early in the video how I oriented the bolts and the boom clamps. I'm going to go ahead and unplug our cap from our GPS, and that was the reason I plugged this wire in early in the frame. That way we can lay that out of our way. We're not going to damage our wire. Get our cap clear of the machine. I'm going to fold the 4 booms in. Actually, you fold them halfway in when you actually do what I'm getting ready to do, but I'm going to go ahead and fold these for a view. If you look at your aircraft, even though I took a lot of time squaring up my motors, I don't know how well you can see this in the video, but the motors are out of skew. They're not plumb. There's a couple ways to do this. You can drop your legs off, put it on a table, setting on your 4 load mounts, and that will, there's not really enough height. You can put a piece of, I use a big roll masking tape, and generally lift the machine up off the table. That way these aren't touching. And so anyway, I'm gonna pull these back right in the middle, and then my 2mm wrench will reach in here and just slightly loosen these a little, both of them, the boom clamp bolt and the motor mount bolt. Turn your props to where you can look down your props at the frame, which is square enough, and you square that, get back a little where you can see what you're doing. Which they can be maybe a little different, but that's visually square, which is going to fly very nice. Tighten our 2 bolts back down, don't forget that. Your tables may not be perfectly level. This works great, these machines, when you do this. Yeah, it's a little out of skew as well, so let's loosen up. That's why we put these bolts to the outside for this access right here. This is what makes your machine fly, good or bad. You square all these real nicely, your machine's going to fly good. Right in between square and off square. Square. Happy with that. I'll have to lean the phone up here. Gotta get this build shipped today.